So today's topic, provision for taxation. Let's start. Provision for taxation topic. Whatever I'm going to show you today, इसी से ही क्वेश्चंस आएगा. इन तीनों फैक्टर से ही कोई एक पार्ट निकाल के CBSE will give you a question. First of all, tell me, what is provision for taxation? Anybody who can tell me? What is provision for taxation? Anybody? Any idea? No. See, what happens is, let's take an example to help you to understand this. Let's take this number line into consideration. This is 2019 and here is 2020. This is 31st March 2020. Tell me something. In 2019-20, whatever profits you earn, students, listen to this carefully. In the year 2019-20, in the financial year 19-20, whatever profits you have earned, you will pay tax on this profit in which year? 2019-20 or in 2020-21? Come on, tell me.
So 2019-20.
2021.
We pay this in the next year. I hope this is clear. That is in the year 2019-20 is the current year for you. You have earned a profit of say 40 lakhs. So on this profit, you will pay tax in the next accounting year, that is 2021. Are you getting my point clear? So what we do here is that the amount of tax, the exact amount of tax that is to be paid cannot be calculated precisely during the year. It can only be calculated at the end of the year. But you can always make an estimate of the same. Means your profit of 40 lakhs that has happened at the end of the year. So until and unless the year ends, you cannot calculate the profit. So what we do is that on the basis of an estimated profit, we calculate an estimated amount of tax. And that estimated amount of tax that we have calculated will be recorded under provision for taxation account. Remember, provision for taxation is a liability for the business because you have created an estimation of the amount of tax that you have to pay. Have you understood this? So in 1920, the amount of profit you earn, on that profit, you will pay the amount of tax in the next accounting year. But you will create a provision for taxation account in the year 1920 and record that provision for tax value for that particular year. Did you all understand this? Tell me, because I need answers. If you're quiet, then it is difficult for me. If you want me to explain again, I'm ready to explain. Tell me. Is it clear, students?
So explain once more.
Provision for taxation is an account created to record the estimated amount of tax that you will pay for the current year in the next accounting year. Means this is the accounting year 1920. This is your accounting year 2019-20. In this particular year, whatever profit you have made on that amount of profit, say you have made a profit of 40 lakhs. This is the profit that you have made in this year, 40 lakhs. Now you tell me, when did you come to know that you have made a profit of 40 lakhs at the end of the year? So on this, say, if you are to pay a 10% tax, then how much tax will you pay? 40,000 tax you will pay. This tax you will pay in which accounting year? You will pay this in the next accounting year, 2020, 2021. Are you getting the point clear? But in 2019-20, you will also create a provision for taxation account. You will also create this provision for taxation account. And in this provision for taxation account, you will record an estimated amount of tax that you may have to pay. Estimated amount of tax. Suppose you have estimated that in this year you might have to pay, say, 50,000 tax. This amount is an estimated amount of tax that will be recorded in which account? Provision for taxation account.
Taxation.
But later on, when you come to know that you have to pay 40,000, then from this 50,000 amount of tax that you've estimated, you pay out 40,000. Did you understand my point?
Yes, sir.
So the provision for taxation ledger is always created. So the provision for taxation ledger is always created. Just hold on. What happened to this pen? Just hold on. So this provision for taxation account that you have prepared in the current year, in this, you will record the estimated amount of tax. And provision for taxation account is also considered as what? A ledger. Are you getting my point clear? So there are three different conditions to this. There are three different conditions. Let's see what are the conditions. Situation one. Let's see the first situation. Situation one. Please write them down one by one. Situation one says, suppose here is the year 2019. This is the year 2020. Simple. It's written here. Provision for taxation. Say it's 80,000 and here it is 90,000. Now, first thing that you have to answer or understand here, can you tell me, I am preparing the cash flow statement for which accounting year, 19 or 20? By looking into this information, can you tell me I'm preparing the provision for taxation ledger for which accounting year, 19 or 2020? Tell me. Cash flow statement is always prepared for the current year, that is for the year 2020. That means over here, provision for taxation, 80,000 is the amount of tax for the previous year. And this is the amount of tax for the current year. Are you getting my point clear? Students?
Yes, sir.
So in this case, always remember, whenever you have an opening balance and a closing balance of tax, the current year's amount of tax will be added to calculate net profit before tax. Let me write down the note for you. You will write it down. Note. When only opening and closing balances are given, the current year's provision for tax, that is rupees 90,000, will be added to calculate net profit before taxation as single inverted comma, as provision for taxation current year. Is this clear? Now make a paragraph and write the previous year provision for tax, that is rupees 80,000, will be subtracted. It will be subtracted from cash generated from operations as income tax paid. But is it clear to all of you? This is situation number 1. Calculation of net profit before taxation. Do you remember this format? Is it this format?
Yes, sir.
इसमें क्या करोगे? This is how you draw the line. अब इसमें क्या लिखोगे? Just hold on. Again, the same problem has happened. What should I write here? Net profit
Net profit for the current year.
for current year. There will be one figure. This figure you will put here. With this, will you not add? What will you add?
The proposed dividend of the previous year.
Provision for taxation for which year? Current year. What is the current year figure? This 90,000, this you will add here. Is this understood?
Yes, sir.
And then proposed dividend of the previous year, all those things will come. Is it clear now? Now over here, what is your previous year's figure?
80,000.
What is the previous year's figure?
80,000.
This 80,000, what will you do? देखो यहाँ पे क्या लिखा था? Previous year figure of 80,000. The previous year's figure of provision for tax will be subtracted from what figure? Will be subtracted from what figure? Cash generated from operation as income tax paid. याद है आप लोग जब कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम ऑपरेटिंग एक्टिविटीज बनाते हैं इस जगह पे कैश फ्लो फ्रॉम ऑपरेटिंग एक्टिविटीज, यहाँ पे एक आंसर आता है ना, कैश generated from operations. What is that figure? एक figure आएगा ना, from this what will you subtract? Less income tax paid. What is your income tax paid of the previous year? 80,000. This you will subtract, and the figure that you get, this will be known as what? Net cash flow from operating activities. Is it clear now, students? Students, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Rupees, income tax paid during the year, rupees say income tax year rupees, well, let's be 80,000 to balance 30,000. So now understand. Here is a situation wherein, apart from your opening and closing balance, you also have A third information, there is income tax paid during the year. Now, first of all, understand 2018 का जो previous year income tax paid है, provision है, that is 80,000. Current year's balance is 90,000. And during the year, how much income tax have you paid, students? 80,000. इसका journal पहले समझो. What is the journal for this? Anybody who can tell me the journal for this amount of income tax paid during the year? What is the journal for income tax paid during the year? Anyone? If you remember, I said you provision for tax is what? A liability. Now, when you pay income tax, isn't your liability decreasing? When you pay income tax, isn't your liability decreasing? And when liability is decreased, it is what? Debit. That's a rule. So keeping this in mind, my journal entry will be provision for tax account debited to bank account. How much? How much did you pay? 30,000. Is this understood? So now, provision for taxation account. Here is your ledger. इसका ओपनिंग बैलेंस कौन सा साइड में जाएगा? प्रोविजन फॉर टैक्स इज अ लायबिलिटी. Liabilities opening balance always comes on the credit side. Remember, we prepare a ledger only when, apart from your opening and closing balance, there is a third information given for income tax. Then we go for a ledger. तो यहाँ पे क्या होगा? By balance brought down. How much it is? 80,000. Now provision for tax to bank. तो यहाँ पे क्या होगा? To bank account. How much payment did you make? 30,000. I hope I am clear with the journal. When you are making a payment of income tax, it is provision for tax account debited to bank account. Is it clear to all of you? Finally, opening balance being a liability will come on the credit side. Then where should the closing balance come? Here. To balance carried down. What is your to balance carried down figure, students? 90,000. Finished. Now let us balance this ledger. 90 plus 30 is how much? 1,20,000. 1,20,000. Now, what is left out? What is the balancing figure? 40,000. Remember, this 40,000, which is the balancing figure, is the amount of income tax for the current year, and this amount will be transferred to profit and loss account. So, यहाँ पे we will mention by statement of profit and loss, and within bracket we will give it as balancing figure. Now, coming back to the utilities. How much income tax did you pay? 30,000. This 30,000 that you have paid will be subtracted. This amount will be subtracted from, you know it already, cash generated from operations as income tax paid. This figure will, this 30,000 will be subtracted. Is this clear? And this 40,000 that you have calculated, ये जो 40,000 आपने जो calculate किया, the balancing figure, this will be added as, within single inverted comma, provision for tax for current year to calculate net profit before taxation. Is this clear to all of you students? अब देखो, now comes situation number 3. Situation number 3 में everything is same, everything सब कुछ same है, बस 3 कर दिए, ओपनिंग बैलेंस हो गया 80,000 90,000, ये भी सेम है, बस एडिशनल इंफॉर्मेशंस में मैं बस एक चीज को चेंज करूंगा पिछले पॉइंट से, इनकम टैक्स प्रोवाइडेड या फिर मेड ड्यूरिंग द ईयर. रुपीज 30,000. बात समझ में आया? इनकम टैक्स पेड की जगह I have used the word provided or made. What do you mean by provided or made? It means the amount of 30,000 is the current year's income tax that has to be paid. Did you understand this? This 30,000 is the current year's income tax that has to be paid. Is it clear to all of you students?
Yes, sir.
This is the amount that has to be transferred to profit and loss account during the year rupees 30,000. Now, in this case, what you will do, everything remains same. Opening balance 80,000 done, closing balance 90,000 done. इसको रब करो 30,000 और इसको रब कर दो 40,000 को. अब देखो मैं क्या करूंगा. टू बैंक में कितना लिखेंगे देखो पहले. टू बैंक अकाउंट ये बाद में आएगा. यहां पे आई विल मेंशन बाय स्टेटमेंट ऑफ प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस 30,000. डिड यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस? ये जो 30,000 is the amount of income tax that is to be provided, means this is the amount to be transferred to profit and loss account. तो बाय स्टेटमेंट ऑफ पीएल में कितना हो जाएगा 30,000. तो यहां पे होगा 80 plus 30 is how much 1,10,000. ये भी कितना हो जाएगा 1,10,000. तो 80 plus 30 1,10,000 1,10,000 1,10,000 से 90 माइनस करने से how much do you get 20,000. Now this becomes your balancing figure. So this 20,000 now will be what? This will be subtracted from cash generated from operation as income tax paid. Statement of PL, as we all know, 30,000. This one will be added to calculate what? Net profit before tax. This is situation 3. Whenever they say income tax provided or made during the year, means this amount will be transferred to profit and loss account. So when you transfer amount to profit and loss, what is the journal entry? Statement of PL account debited to provision for taxation account. To provision for taxation account. तो provision for taxation account आपके लिए क्या है? Liability है. Opening balance 22 में गया. Statement of PL 30,000 credit में चला गया. Closing balance 90 आ गया. तो आपका amount to be paid is how much? 20,000. This 20,000 will be transferred here, and the remaining 30,000 जो आपका to be provided जो था, this one will be transferred to profit and loss account. Amount to be transferred to profit and loss account क्या होगा? Added as provision for tax for which year? Current year, to calculate what? Net profit before tax. And this 20,000 जो आपका जो balancing figure आया, this will be subtracted from cash generated from operation as income tax paid. Class, is it clear?